Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob and having my trunk coffee, just taking a break from the work. As you can see, I've been busy. I was up till 8 o'clock this morning and then got back up at 11. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep over this. I'm trying to get this thing done. We found us a problem. But before I get into this, I wanted to let you guys know that if you guys are interested in watching my videos in other places, come join the Bison Workshop group on Facebook, and I post the link to all my videos on that too. Plus, that also gives you a way to use Messenger through Facebook to ask me any questions or anything like that. And that fly is starting to piss me off. You know, to ask questions or get advice or whatever. You know, interact with me a little bit. But anyway, we've got the steering column done. We ended up making bushings for it. So we're going to go ahead and use aluminum, because I think that aluminum will work fine, simply because this is not going 1700 RPMs or anything like that. It's just turning the steering, and it's slow. So as long as you got grease in there, these bushings will last forever. Hell, this thing will probably be tore up in a month anyway. So I made 3 bushings. This here, one for each side of the column, and then the one for the seat that I welded in yesterday. So I've got it painted up and ready to go together. I've got the knuckle to bolt the steering wheel done. I got the control arms done. I went with gray on those. And then I also made bushings here. And the reason I done that, if I can find it here, the plastic one of them was squished and bubbled out, and the other one was fine, but I wanted them to match. So I just went ahead and made 2 aluminum ones for that also. Then I've got both my pedals done. I decided to go with gray on those. And I fixed that one by welding an ear right here on this, just like that. So I don't know how long it'll last. It might break the first time they use it, who knows. So we're gonna put you over here. We'll get set up where you guys can watch me. We'll put this thing together. We're gonna put the steering column together, and we're gonna put the well, all this except for this. I gotta wait until I'm ready to do the brakes to do that. So we'll probably turn an aluminum washer for that. That was the only one I could find that had the hole that fit it, because I was too lazy to make one, and I'm going to end up making it anyway. It's got a flat side on it where I had cut a hole into something. But anyway, we're not going to do the brakes today. We're just doing the pedals, the steering column, and the control arms. Alright, so now I've cleaned all this out inside here and shaped everything so it's nice and smooth. And we've got our tub of grease here. And so now this has to be put in a certain way. So the first thing we need to do is take these 2 collars off. These 2 have to go on first, because once you get it in there, you can't get it back on there. So let me make sure this is the right one. They're 2 different sizes. For some reason this is tapered, so I had to make this one a different size. So that one's the one that goes on there. Alright, so it's going to be interesting getting grease in it. We might be alright. So the first thing we're going to do is put this bushing in. And then we'll tap it down. I'd rather have my dead blow. Alright. Put a little bit of grease on that bad boy. Same thing with this. Well, probably should have done that last. Hold on. I'll wipe that back off. Because when I go to put my washer on it, I got a washer here I got to put on. This is going to act as my race for this to ride up against. So now we can put grease on it. Too much. This is actually going to be some pretty tight steering. So now we can go ahead and put it up in there. And we'll put a little bit of grease on the top of this bushing. And then we'll slide her down in there. Yeah, that's going to be tight steering. Not tight, but it's going to be, tolerance is pretty good. So now we'll go ahead and put some grease on this. And we'll put our set screw in. As soon as I find my Allen wrench. I thought I had all my tools set out that I needed, and I don't. So now, probably ought to slide that down because the collar is also acting as a race. That's why I machined that side, so it's nice and straight and true. And then we can just wipe that excess off. Now you don't want to put it in there real tight. Alright, so now that thing is pinned right where it's at. That one seems like it might be a little tight for some reason. It shouldn't be. But it'll loosen up. It's got paint on it too, so once that paint gets wore a little bit, it'll loosen up. Alright, so then we'll take and put some grease on this bushing. And again, the same thing, put some grease on the outside of it. And we'll tap that one down. Find my dead blow. I'd rather use my dead blow. Alright. Now we can put our collar on it, and as you can see, I machined that side so it's nice and smooth, and chamfered the inside of that and chamfered the outside of it. Somebody out there weed eating in this hot ass weather. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and put this one down. We can't have no, what I was trying to say was we can't be having no non-OCD stuff going on here. We gotta have that OCD going. Yeah, I have OCD. Alright, that is going to be sweet, man. Now I need to find my anti-seize to put on this gear. So we'll see if I find it. Well guys, I can't find my anti-seize, so we're gonna have to use grease. It'll do the same thing, just won't last as long. Alright. Probably ought to time it to make sure that because I want this to be straight. So we need the two of the three at the top. So we're going to straighten that up a little bit. Then we're going to eyeball it and get that thing to where those splines will line up. Now we can put it back on there and leave it on there. Alright, now it's on there permanently. Now we can go ahead and put our steering wheel on. Good thing I checked that, huh? And I'm using stainless steel nuts with painted Phillips head bolts. Phillips head bolts is probably the wrong bolts to use, but damn, it's a good thing these washers or these collars on these nuts ain't any bigger, because it might hit. Well, if I can get it frickin' centered, let's try it this way. There we go. So now we're going to tighten this down. Alright, so now let's go ahead and put these on. Well, let's go ahead and put the pedals on first. Alright, so now we got the throttle ready to go. Alright, brakes ready to go. All I got to do is wait for me to put the brakes on it. So now let's go ahead and do these. So there we have new tie rods, bushing made for this, drilled out to fit this size bolt, and now we're going to have to get our wheels. But the problem that we're having is they sent me 4 of the 5-inch 410 by 350 tires, and they are 2 different sizes from the front to the rear. I never understood why somebody would put a small tire on the front and a big tire on the back. There's the difference. So when I bought the tires, I took the measurement off of the size off of the rear one. Never would have imagined that they were different sizes from front to rear. I just assumed that they were all exactly the same. So so now that presented us a problem. He's wanting this thing done in at least 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that I can get a good seller that will actually ship it and get it to me as quick as possible. But I'm working with the guy that I bought these tires from, and he said that he would let me send 2 tires back and he's got the right size that I need for the front. So I'd rather him put 5-inch on the front also, but I can't find that wheel nowhere. eBay, I've checked other places, I can't find them wheels. You can find the ones that are not, or they're tubeless, but we need the tubed ones because the go-kart has options. You have to be able to mount this piece right here. So yeah, it's got several options. You can add a brake rotor to that one and have a rear disc brake on the other side, and there's also a bracket for the brake, the throttle, and then there's another one over there on the other side, just like this one on this side. So that tells me that it's set up to do everything. So look, I missed a fucking place to paint. Damn it. It's a good thing this stuff dries fast, huh? How the hell did I miss that little spot? But there we have it. Steering column. Man, that thing feels sweet. So I'll pull the camera down here and show you what we got. We put the steering wheel on it, and this looks like it's powder coated. It's not aluminum, I don't believe. It might be aluminum. Then I got the collar. Then I got the bushing. I put another bushing here, and then a collar, and I machined both sides of these collars to make them so that they could be a race also, or a contact point. Then we made a bushing for this, and I used a stainless steel 1/4-20. Yes, I would like for it to be bigger, but there's not a whole lot of space left up here, and if you start drilling bigger, you're going to end up with problems. It'll break easier. You don't want to take out all your meat. So it was fine for years with the 1/4-20, and I don't see any reason why it shouldn't work now. This thing here is tight. This is tight, and it's squeezing against those bearings that's in there, the universal or whatever you want to call that, the ball connection. So it's squeezing against that, and both of them are squeezing against each other. So the center part doesn't even move. It's this part that moves on the ball. So I think that'll work just fine. It was like that for years. The only weakness it had was the fact that they had too small of a piece, a rod to use. And we put a bushing down here, so now we don't have no play. And man, that thing feels sweet. Then we got these redone. And the next thing I need to do is go ahead and put the bottom on it. We're going to use, well, one of them's right here. We're going to use a aluminum sign that he brought me. And he's got another one here that I've already marked it where I need to cut it. It's going to have to be in 2 pieces. So basically, we're going to overlap them in the middle, and then the bolt will go through both of them. And then on the ends, it'll just be bolts going, on each side. I think I got tongue-tied there for a second. And I'm also thinking about in the center here, since that's such a long span right there, and somebody steps on it, it probably will bend the aluminum. So I'm going to take the same stuff that I used for the seat, this stuff right here, and I got the wider stuff. I'm going to use the wider stuff, but what I'll do, I'll put that on underneath and bolt them with the same bolts that holds the panels in, and that will help support the weight of people's feet and people stepping in it, because you know that somebody's going to stand right there before they sit down. So it'd be a good idea to have some kind of support in the middle. So that will shorten the span. So there you have the steering wheel and the steering system in, and the brake pedals, or brake pedal and throttle pedal. And I guess the next thing we'll do will be the rear wheels and the brakes. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hey, by all means guys, come see me on Facebook, man. Let me know you're watching, and give me some more compliments. I love it. Keep them coming, man. I appreciate every one of you guys. You guys are the only reason I do this. Well, I ain't got no woman in my life, so you guys are my woman. No, don't take that the wrong way. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Later.